And we're live. Okay. I believe we were live. Let's see here.
Yes, we are.
We are? Okay. Can you
With
see
a
our wonderful
very,
faces on the
yeah,
live stream? You can? Cool. Okay.
huge delay, but yeah.
That's they're supposed to be. Anyways, hello and welcome to Warhammer 40K's Grim History from the Beyond. I'm Zekthar,
And I'm Yuxin.
and we are the chroniclers of all that was and all that will be in the 41st millennium. We've seen the rise and fall of many empires, and today we have a little bonus box at the end of the year for you.
Indeed. And as this is the end of the year, we figured we would go over some of the stuff we did this year and recollect some of the fun time we have had.
That's right, Yuxin. It's a very own end of the year special.
Very well. Let me start. Well,
Okay.
first, let's go
Right,
over what we actually covered.
right. So, for those of you, anyways, that haven't been part of our little stream all year, first off, welcome. Oh, wait, shoot, I almost forgot. We have music. Turn that down just a hair so you can actually hear us. Okay. So, this year, we actually started the year with Armageddon. We started a lot of, actually, we did a lot this year, anyways, when it had to do with the Black Templars. So we started the year with Armageddon, which, needless to say, had a lot to do with the Black Templars, and then we did the Black Templars because that's what Sir Bender Biden wanted us to talk about. Then Hermes picked the Dark Angels, so we talked about them for a month, including the what was it, the Rangdan Xenocides. I believe that was the big one, anyways, that we talked about. Then after that, we discussed we realized, anyways, that we were going to run out of loyalist guys real quick, so we shifted over to some not so loyal guys. We went with the Word Bearers, which I thought actually was kind of interesting. And then we talked about the Custodes, and then we had another member join us, Colin, and he didn't know anything about Warcraft or Warhammer. So what we did was we decided, anyways, that we were going to do kind of a Warhammer for beginners. And so we just did a really easy, just kind of dip your toe into what's happening in Warhammer 40K. And then after that, we took a little bit of break, and then we came back and did Blood Angels, and then the Grey Knights, and then to end the year, we did the Planconius Wars, which was fairly interesting in my opinion. But that's kind of all the stuff that we covered this year. Out of all the stuff that we covered, though, what was your favorite topic that we discussed?
Um, Probably the worst on Armageddon.
Why is that?
Because it covered, well, first of all, it covered Armageddon, which is a cluster of never ending war on a small scale. And it's interesting how it goes from chaos versus Imperium to orcs and then to chaos again.
Well, the first
And
one,
the orcs,
was Chaos, correct?
yes, first one was chaos.
And then the orcs, and it was just solely the orcs in the Second War of Armageddon, correct?
And the third one.
By the end of the third one, though, didn't, because the the Chaos Demons popped up back again, anyways, at the end of the third one, right?
Right. So they're basically into the fourth one. I'm not sure if they still call it.
I think they call it the Third War of Armageddon because they never finished the Third War of Armageddon. It's just become one big bad blob. Right now, anyways, Armageddon's kind of interesting because, like I said, anyways, the uh, the demons have popped up there. So you actually get on rare occasions where demons and or not demons, humans and orcs actually end up helping each other to try to fend off the demons, which is
Yeah.
kind of bizarre. But I mean, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. My personal favorite, anyways, actually, there was a couple of them I thought was interesting. I thought it was interesting when we did Lorgar's story. Because we literally, I mean, because he is so important to the history of the Imperium. I thought that was fairly fascinating. The how he kind of literally shaped
How we found out
the
he
heresy.
wasn't as horrible of a fighter later on in his life.
Later on, when he
You know.
started to accept the aspect of being, he was kind of a psyker.
A wizard?
Yeah, he was a wizard.
It's like, wait, I should just use my wizard skills. And all of a sudden, yeah.
The Rangdan Xenocide I thought was also kind of interesting because I really had to dig to try to find information on it, which is always kind of interesting.
Like, which one?
There were what, 3 of them, right? All of which, anyways,
Yeah.
In most places that you try to look for lore, anyways, you get maybe a paragraph of information. Trying to find, anyways, pictures of the Rangdan, anyways, is also almost impossible to find. We found some of them, but yeah. Yeah, so for me, anyways, is probably Lorgar's is probably the most interesting because we were able to literally, I mean, chronicle what happened before the Horus Heresy, what took place with the Horus Heresy, and then the end game, which Lorgar wasn't part of. I always found that kind of bizarre, anyways, that when Chaos, when Horus was killed, word finally got back into the warp. Lorgar's on his planet. He's like, "See, I told you it wasn't gonna work." That and the fact, anyways, that the Raven's chasing him, and he's just been hiding behind that big oak door. Make sure that the Raven doesn't get him. I find kind of funny, but yeah. Well, do you got a question for me? Since I gave the first one, I guess.
You did?
Yeah.
I thought I did. Okay. How about what was your least favorite thing to talk about?
Okay, that's a toss up for me. Anyways, it's either the Custodes, and quite frankly, no, you know what? I'm not gonna say the Custodes. It was definitely the Grey Knights. I can't stand the Grey Knights. I mean, there's this thing called balance. You see, and with the Grey Knights, there just isn't any balance. I mean, it's like if you go, like, for instance, in D&D or something like that, and you play a wizard. You can. I'm not a big... It also doesn't help that I'm not a big fan of wizards or magic or anything like that. My concept is big axe. Hit someone with big axe. You win. You know, kind of thing. But, very much more the barbarian mold and fighter and whatnot. But, or orcs. I mean, that's why I love orcs too. It's like we have a choppa and we have a shooter. What kind of shooter is it? It's a big shooter. Or it's a small shooter, depending on who's wielding it. And the choppa is a big choppa or a little choppa. There's no like, it's an axe. No, that's a choppa. But with the space wizards, the Grey Knights, I mean, the thing is that, like I said, you're playing D&D and you're playing a wizard. That's great. You can play a wizard. But the thing is that it's like, yes, you have this awesome cosmic powers, but you're incredibly squishy. So if somebody gets close to you anyways, then you're pretty much screwed. Well, they took that away anyways as soon as they gave the Space Knights, or the Grey Knights, ceramite armor. And giant power swords to wield as well. It's like, we can't make these guys squishy too. I mean, my backup was probably going to be the Custodes. And the thing about the Custodes is, I think anyways, that they're talked up quite a bit more than they should be. But at the same time, anyways, one of my favorite characters of all time is Constantine Baldor. And Trajan's not half bad either, once you start reading about him. But, Yeah, it's got to be the Grey Knights to me. It's just the more that I read into them, anyways, the more I was disgusted with them. Let's put it that way. I would rather if we went back and did the year over again, I would rather have talked about, well, okay, maybe not the Drukari, but close. It's
No,
the
no.
coursers. I would rather talk about the Eldari coursers than the Grey Knights, who are not very nice people either. But yeah, I
But
just
they are not the Drukari.
yeah, Drukari. I'm like, I don't. I'd rather talk about Harlequins. At least they have some benefits to me. But what was your least favorite thing to talk about this year?
Well, part of it would be probably a toss up between the Custodes and the Grey Knights. The Grey Knights mainly because of really their lore has just been really poorly written.
It. I was talking to a guy a couple days ago, and he was like, "You've got, depending on who's writing it, you've got either a Grey Knight goes down to a planet and kills everything, or there's like 6 or 7 and they get mobbed by a Chaos Sorcerer."
Yeah.
It's like, you guys should probably figure out what you're doing, you know? But yes, as you can tell, anyways, I'm not a super huge fan of the Grey Knights. But you said the Custodes too? I'm kind of
Yeah,
surprised you
because
didn't say the Black Templar. I know you're not a big fan of them. Speaking of which, that does actually kind of bolden my next question, anyways. So, because we did do so much talking about the Black Templars, um, are you still not a fan of them, or have you kind of gained a begrudging respect of them?
I'm still not a fan.
Like those German fellows can still suck it. So
Even Grimardus, even though he's
Maldas, yeah.
he's made some progress. He's made some progress, but you know,
Yeah, I just thought maybe anyways you might have, just because we talked about him so much. And so, me personally, I got a little bit more respect for him now. They are not as, I mean, they're still nut jobs, but at least they're at least they're loyalist nut jobs. Let's put it that way. I mean, I also tend to like, for instance, the World Eaters too. And they kind of remind me a lot of the World Eaters, but they're loyalists instead. And aesthetically, they look awesome. The whole black and white with the crosses. I mean, it's pretty cool. They look like Templars of old. So I do like the aesthetics of them. But yeah, I was just kind of wondering, maybe you.
no, not
No,
really.
you still don't like them. Okay, fair enough. But since we are on the subject of the Black Templars, what was and Armageddon and whatnot? What was your favorite war of Armageddon, of the three of them?
Um, Part of me wants to say the second one because that's the one where you actually got. Well, this is personally because I like the squats because they don't talk about them. But that's beside the point.
You
Uh,
and your squats.
Mind you, once again, the Imperium ripped off tech from somewhere else, uh, but the third one also I like because of the fact that it had tech made by Orchimedes.
Oh yeah,
I just
Orchimedes,
find
the
Orchimedes'
boats.
character kind of funny.
I'm hoping
Just like,
someday they make a model of him.
yeah.
That would be cool. But yeah, I mean, I actually, to me anyways, the one that I like the most is probably the first one. And not necessarily the first one, the war in and of itself, but just what takes place after that too, the Months of Shame, which is kind of attached to it. Yet again, like I said, anyways, anytime the Grey Knights get thrashed, I'm on board. So
Okay, how about one that's
And
not afterwards, but actually during the war?
and quite frankly, anyways, it also the Space Wolves were there, and they're probably my favorite Space Marine chapter. And Logan Grimnar, who's awesome. So, I mean, probably the first War of Armageddon. Well, not only that, I mean, it had guys in it that I actually appreciate more. It had Angron was there. Another one of those weird, it's like, well, the Grey Knights show up. Are they going to be helpful or are they really not? Because who knows who's writing it? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. They did end up helping, I believe, anyways, Grimnar take down Angron, and it took, I think, what, 50 of them or something? Most of the Grey Knights died in that endeavor. Of course, then again, the next time that they meet Angron, I think there was like 5 of them. They like stopped him. Space wizards. But yeah, no, probably the first War of Armageddon.
Like they got better phenomenally over the last 100 years.
That being said, anyways, I did read the Third War of Armageddon with the Siege of Hell's Reach, which is very well written. It's actually, I mean, and it's very well done. So I got to reread that pretty much. That, and then the book after that, which was I don't think it was a full book. I think it was a novella about the Celestial Lions, and what happened to them, and it just made me even more pissed off about the Inquisition. I hate the Inquisition. We didn't talk about them this year though, so they weren't on my list of worst people. The worst thing we talked about. It still probably would have gone with Grey Knights, but yeah, it just, to me anyways, I do like anyways the lore around that. To me though, the first war had the other thing that I find funny about Armageddon was it's in fact Ulanor.
Yeah.
Because the Mechanica one, yeah, here's your fun little trivia fact for the day, folks. But yeah, the Ulanor campaign, where it took literally like 7 legions, all the Custodes, the Emperor himself, everybody anyways, to take that planet out, because it was ruled by orcs. And then afterwards, the Beast showed up on that planet. Yeah, instead of blowing the planet up, the Mechanicum's like, we want to keep it and research it for some weird reason, because the Mechanicum relocated it to another part of space, and it became Armageddon.
Get it. So, in fact, the people that were originally there were the orcs.
Right. Yeah, it's when I found that out, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And you're like, no, it really is. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we like I said, and that was at the very beginning of the year. We talked a ton about Armageddon and the Black Templars and whatnot. But out of all the stuff that we did do this year, anyways, what was the one thing, anyways, that you remember that it was actually new information to you? Something you learned this year.
Well, I didn't know much about the Deputus Custodes originally.
And the more that you learned, what did you think of them?
There's the propaganda is way too up there. I mean, they're amazing warriors. It's just it's like the whole mindset that came across with the Grey Knights too. It's like, you send one, they'll be able to take over the world. It's like, no. I mean, a Custode is a great warrior, not necessarily a great soldier, but a great warrior.
That was the other thing that we kind of discovered.
Yeah.
Which, take it or leave it. It's kind of what it is. It's yeah. Custodes aren't. I'm right now reading through, anyways, the Master of Mankind, and it just kind of, the more that you read about the Custodes, the more you realize they really aren't human anymore. They're not even close. Yeah.
Well, they're basically completely broken down and then built. Pretty much.
The more I've read about it, though, the more, anyways, I think that they're far more interesting than we kind of gave them credit. because, like you said, anyways, they're not really human anymore. But if we grade them on the aspect of being human, then yeah, they're total dicks. They can't stand anybody. They're just like, you weaklings, you insignificant curs. It's like, yeah, but if you look at them more like aliens that don't have human emotions, then you can kind of understand why they're dicks, and you can kind of move past that a little bit. You can kind of give them a little bit of, a little grain of salt, anyways, so to speak, on that. Me personally, anyways, it was, quite frankly, it was the fact, anyways, that Lorgar wasn't such a wimp by the end.
Yeah.
That really, anyways, kind of shocked me, because everything that I've ever read, anyways, was like, out of all the brothers, Lorgar was the weakest. It's always the way that it's explained. But the more you read into his life, and the farther he falls into chaos, he literally, it's not even really that he falls more into chaos. He becomes more of himself.
No,
Which is weird.
He becomes more of himself, because up until I think, I want to say the massacre, the drop site massacre. He really hadn't let himself go yet.
Yeah.
He was still like, I'm holding back my psychic powers and all that stuff. After he lets that go, it like really his skill of fighting capabilities has increased a lot.
Oh, there are a couple times where it shows up before then, but they're like little instances.
Yeah.
Like when he wallops Rabute Gilliman, which I thought was just awesome. I was like,
yeah, and he ends up fighting against Gilliman again, and
pretty much gonna kill him.
They were toe to toe, but of course, before we could see who won that one, that's when Angron showed up. So,
and quite frank, I mean, honestly, Lorgar saved Gilliman there. If he hadn't done anything, Angron would have killed Gilliman. I mean, there's not a doubt in my mind. Angron's on a different tier level. When the other thing too, the other part that I really remember about Lorgar was the fact that anyways, when he realizes Fulgrim's not really Fulgrim after the drop site massacre, and it's that demon portraying himself as Fulgrim.
He gets pissed.
And he gets pissed and literally like throws Fulgrim up onto the wall, and Horus tries to stop him, and he can't do anything. He can't stop him, which is saying something because it's Horus. So
right.
That's probably also why, anyways, everybody thinks Horus was also kind of a pipsqueak. Like, well, if Lorgar could toss him around, it's like, well, this is a different Lorgar. This is new mean Lorgar. The lean, mean fighting machine. Not the wimpy dude, anyways. It was like, praise the Almighty Father. I don't think this wasn't the preacher. This is the new guy.
This is the one who gave up on the dick
and
moved on.
Yeah.
To the
reading Master of Mankind, I'm just sitting there going, wow, the Emperor is just, God, his ego is just ridiculous. Now, we've talked about the aspect of ego. Like, for instance, Michael Jordan, anyways, had a decent ego on him. It's like, well, yeah, because he was the greatest ever to play the game. But at the same time, anyways, he was never the guy that actually told anybody that he was the greatest basketball player. Other people said that about him. So,
right.
The Emperor is just like, just reading about it, it's just like, see, we got rid of religion because, I mean, immorally, it's corrupted. It corrupts people because of all these different things. And then he literally turns around and does all those different things. It's like, well,
yeah,
you're doing the same thing.
Perfect example. First time that he ends up getting Lorgar to turn against him, basically, is because despite the fact he's being worshipped as a god, which, by the way, he doesn't say, you need to stop this.
Until, he does, but it's one of those, no, sorry. Please, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Please don't do that. Oh, yes. I can see we're twisting your arm to stop, Please don't do that. Oh, whatever. I don't care. But don't.
It's also, I mean,
But
you also
then,
see it anyways, like for instance with the Omnissiah.
yeah.
He was cool
And
with
then,
Mars praising him as a god, you know. But
well,
yeah,
in that
sorry.
case, you just like, in that case, at least when I believe it came to the people of Mars, the way up there people were just like, the best way to not have mass murder on both sides is to say that he's the Omnissiah instead of,
Well, a
uh,
lot of them were actually pretty faithful and thought that he was the Omnissiah, and he was still cool with it though, because he didn't want to fight
yeah,
Mars.
right,
So, so he stands by his principles unless he needs to be pragmatic about it.
yeah,
It's like, so it's just a really nice way of saying he has no principles.
right.
Which
Because, like, for example, when he turns Lorgar, he basically burns the places of ground that
monarchia.
have been put up to praise him, but then he has the entire legion, he forces them to kneel, which, what, like 50,000, 20,000, something like that? All of
It
them
was his whole legion.
forces,
It was the whole legion.
yeah,
They were all expected to bow and watch anyways as the Ultramarines came in and literally razed the planet or razed the city to the ground
and then the Emperor forced them
to kneel in front of him.
with his
Yes.
powers to kneel. But
I'm
he
not
is
a god.
not a god.
Right. It's just every time that I read more and more about the Emperor, I'm like, wow, this guy's just a putz. The only reason he got anybody to follow him was quite frankly because he's just that powerful. Follow me
Right.
or die. Which ironically is very orky. But I'm the biggest, baddest guy. You have to follow me. Well, who does that sound like? Oh yes, an orc. All right. Well, anyways, we could probably talk about the Emperor for a really long time, but we got to move on anyways. So out of all the people that we've talked about this year, we've talked about all sorts of different characters and people. And who was your favorite guy to talk about? Who in your opinion, was... Okay, actually, who's your favorite guy to talk about? And then also, who do you think was the best guy? That could be two different things.
Okay, favorite guy to talk about would probably be,
Stone Tooth Jack.
I don't know. Maybe it would be, oddly enough, Astrath.
Oh,
Just
the
because his
Blood
character is,
Angel. What is... He's Blood Angel what?
he's the
Chaplain, right?
yeah, the High Chaplain, one of the few ones that can actually not hate.
Chaplain that you don't hate.
Yes. There aren't many of those because, as we know, chaplains are like zealots.
Reminds me, actually, my favorite guy to talk about this year, anyways, was another chaplain. But it was the chaplain of the Dark Angels. Crap, what was his name? You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one that's
Crap, what's his name? Anyways, you keep going. I'll look it up here. What's that?
It's Asmodai.
Asmodai. I love talking about him because the more that I read about him, the worse he got. It was just like, is there any redeeming quality to this guy? No, not really.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware, there are basically three different types of chaplains. There's the High Chaplain, there is the regular chaplain, and then there's another subcategory created by the Dark Angels known as the Interrogator Chaplains.
Yep.
Yes. These are the people that are, we know you are evil, now confess and we will kill you. Well, what happens if we don't confess? We will torture you until we kill you.
Okay, fine,
But
I
I'm
confess.
innocent.
Yeah,
It doesn't
fine.
matter.
I confess. I don't believe you. We're gonna torture you anyways.
Yes, exactly.
But this guy literally, anyways, just Asmodai, just no fun at all.
No. He exceeded that. He went above and beyond that.
He's the guy that he heard laughter in the Great Hall, the cafeteria of the fortress, or the fortress world, and demanded that the chapter or the company that was in there, I think it was the third company, were to be sanctioned so that they would be purify themselves, so they weren't allowed to talk for the next 3 years unless they were in combat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy, literally, he's also the guy that squashes fun. Not only is he not fun, he hates fun. And he wishes to kill fun wherever it is.
Exactly.
There's just, I mean, they're the Supreme Grand Master. What's his name? Azrael.
Israel.
Yeah, Azrael. There's just been a couple of times that anyways, he's just in the background, just shaking his head, going, "Why do we keep him? Why do we keep him?"
Because he does like.
He had one redeeming quality to him, and that was he is just incredibly driven to find the fallen. And he has found a few of them. He's also killed a whole bunch of people that weren't the fallen.
Right.
Has gotten him into trouble a couple of times. Like, he was supposed to be helping another Space Marine chapter, thought he found one of the fallen, left them. Like, their whole flank was just, like, gone all of a sudden. So, pretty much most of that chapter died. Turns out the guy that he thought was the fallen wasn't. He was an Inquisitor. And then he pissed off the Inquisition. So, he pissed off not only the Inquisition, he also pissed off the Space Marine chapter. Azrael had to spend months trying to, smooth things over with everybody. Yeah. So then he tried punishing him by putting him in charge, I think, of the 10th Company, the Scouts, who, after, I think, a couple of months, he came back to Asmodai came back to Azrael and said, "We need to kill all of them because they're impure." What?
They took too long.
Yeah, they took too long to do things. It's like, dude, they're the newbies. You're supposed to train them, you idiot, not go, "Oh, well, they're untrainable. Kill them all."
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I kind of hijacked you there. The Blood Angels, Chaplain, you really liked.
He's because, well, Astrath.
His job sucks though.
Too, but Astrath is because he's one of the people who just like, okay, he actually has hope for one thing, that they will find a solution. For the Black Rage.
Right.
So that's one thing that's going for him that most chaplains don't have, which is, yeah. He seems to have a bit of empathy towards them, which is kind of also lost amongst most chaplains.
True. Although Grimaldus kind of discovered his
jobs.
Yeah, he has to go find the ones that have gone insane and kill them.
Yeah.
Or sends them back to the Death Company. One of the two.
Sends them to the Death Company and then has to kill them later when they've completely lost it.
Well, okay, not all of them. As the whole concept of the Death Company is that most of them will fall in battle. That's why they keep the Death Company. But if the person goes absolutely nuts and they no longer can control it anyways, then yes, he has to show up and kill them. It's either him or one of the chaplains that works in the Death Company. Or the smoker, the weed smoker. Crap, what's his name? The guy who's in charge of the Death Company.
Well, the one that they tried, but
it worked for a bit.
It might not be the best idea.
But after going through pantry upon pantry of stuff,
might not be the best thing.
Okay, so that was he your favorite guy to talk about and the best guy you think we talked about, or is it just he was your favorite guy to talk about?
I think it's my favorite guy to talk about.
Okay.
The best, I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, depending on who you talk to.
Well, we're talking to you. So what did you think?
Depending on who writes it. Some people would say.
So who's the best guy?
Drago.
Jeez. No.
Who else that is not a Primarch can defeat a demon Primarch?
Dante.
Anyway,
We talked about some pretty powerful dudes this year. I mean,
yeah.
not even just Space Marines. I mean, we obviously we talked about a couple Primarchs. So I mean, we talked about Lionel Johnson, who that was another thing, anyways, that I learned was that he is a completely different character in the 41st millennium. He's like learned how to be human. All the way back to the 30th.
Social skills.
Yeah, he learned some social
Yes.
skills when he was asleep for some reason. And in the 30th millennium, he was an autistic. Sad sap. And Luther was right. I don't care what people say. Luther was right.
Yeah, Luther really got a bad rap.
He got the short end of the stick. Yeah. I mean, so
Yeah,
like I said, we talked about.
Right. That's the other thing. He was right. He's like, he hasn't died. He's somewhere, but he hasn't died.
I think the Lion
Like,
honestly
you
is trying to
lied.
find him. I think the Lion honestly, that's why he hasn't really done anything other than he's gathering the Fallen. I think he's really trying to find Luther. Either that or Cypher. One of the two. We talked about Cypher too this year. So we talked about.
Maybe.
So I mean, if we're talking about like most powerful guy that we've talked about, yes, we have to put Drago in there. We talked about him. But we also talked about Dante. We talked about 3 Primarchs. Gazgul. We talked about who has now got a heart of a truck. That's what's keeping him going. Which kind of cracks me up. Space Marine, I have 2 hearts.
Back to the whole who writes what. When it came to the fact that Ragnar was able to kill him.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, almost kill him because he didn't really die. But
right.
Plot armor. It's a
Space
miraculous thing.
Space Marine, I have 2 hearts. Gazgul's like, I have a V8. A what? A V8? No, like a heart. You're talking about tomato juice. No, I'm talking about a truck engine, a V8. I originally had a V6, but I figured, let's upgrade this a bit. Need something a little bit more noisy.
Needs to match my extra size now.
So
he is built a little bit bigger than he was originally too.
Yeah. But yeah, so probably the most I hate to say this, but probably the most powerful guy that we talked about was either the Lion or Sanguinius. Because we did cover the Blood Angels too. So it's got to be one of the two. I mean, technically we talked about the Emperor, but I mean, it wasn't like we went into detail on him. So the guys that we went into detail on, probably Sanguinius or the Lion, one of the two.
Well,
just because I want to piss everybody off out there anyways, who are all Blood Angels and Sanguinius boy lovers. The Lion was the most powerful guy we talked about. He was the best.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you define the best.
The best, yeah. If you're talking about, like, for instance, the best of character, I'd probably say Dante.
Yeah.
He is a stand-up dude. And he's been doing it for the last 1,000 years.
If it comes to the best, like, overall, probably lean more towards Sanguinius, but that's because he actually had people skills, whereas, let's face it, Lionel Johnson didn't.
He had none. All right, so, okay. We're going to go a little negative here. Who is the worst guy that you think we talked about? No, okay, so the worst guy that you think anyways. The worst guy you thought anyways, but also, like, just the worst.
Erebus.
We're not even going to make mention of Corfair here. Just Erebus.
Corfair was bad, but
I think we mentioned it when we talked about
every single thing that led towards the Horus Heresy and everything connected to it. Erebus had some sort of hand in.
Well, you just pop up and just do the most geekish things too. It's like after Horus died, Garville Loken finally goes and he talks to Abaddon, and Abaddon's just like, yeah, well, we lost we're not coming back with you because there's no way we can repent because, I mean, the Imperium's not going to work with that. But we're going to leave. And Garvey Loken's kind of about on board with that. And just about the time he's about to leave, all of a sudden, Erebus shows up and stabs him in the back. Everyone goes,
Yeah.
why'd you do that? Because the acts of betrayal are great. What? I would have been cool with that whole storyline if provided right after that, Ezekiel Abaddon just picked him up and hucked him out an airlock or something, Right, act of betrayal.
But
what are you doing?
The problem with that is then you wouldn't have the worst character ever still around. You have to try to find somebody else.
I would argue, though, would put to the argument that Lorgar is far worse than Erebus. Erebus was kind of behind everything in the shadows. Lorgar is the guy that moved things.
I don't know.
All right, prove me wrong.
I still would lean more towards Erebus.
Okay, let me put it this way. I hate Erebus more than Lorgar. Lorgar,
oh yeah.
I think the reason why, though, too, is that with Lorgar, anyways, you can kind of understand, anyways, where he's coming from. Erebus, there is no understanding. He is just evil incarnate. He's just an asshole.
He helped shift everything to Chaos, too. He was originally just a follower of Chaos.
Right.
And always thought himself the priest of the four gods.
Well, same with Corferon.
And then he just constantly, he was the person who further turned Lorgar to the gods of chaos.
Yeah, with the help of Corferon, though. That's the thing. Corferon was a huge influence there, too. I think even more than Erebus at that point. Now, Erebus, anyways, did get the ball rolling with Horus, but at the same time, anyways, none of this stuff would have taken place if, quite frankly, none of this stuff would have taken place if Monarchy had never taken place. And the Emperor hadn't made everybody bow their knee.
So, in results, the worst was
the Emperor. Yes, actually, I would go with that. Yes. You've nailed it on the head. He really is the worst. He's his own worst enemy. Like, literally and figuratively. The whole thing with Monarchia was just kind of, you're sitting there going, why? And the aspect of why he did it was just straight up, anyways, had very little to, the more that we read about it, had very little to do with the fact that, anyways, that Lorgar was preaching that the Emperor was a god. It had to do with the fact that, anyways, that it was taking him so long to do that. His conquests. His efficiency, anyways, on conquering worlds was significantly less than all the rest of the Primarchs.
Let's forget the fact that they're probably the most loyal planets.
Well, that was, turned out to be the downside. Yes. Because Lorgar eventually literally went back and twisted all of them. Said, hey, by the way, all that guy, anyways, that I had you guys, like, build monuments and statues to, screw that guy. We're going to kill him. Okay. So, but the guys that we talked about, Erebus is kind of the worst. We did a whole Vox on who's worse, Corferon or Erebus. And quite frankly, I think we both agreed before we actually started doing the script for that and writing it that Erebus was going to win that. But I think what surprised me is how much Corferon actually really did influence the aspects of what took place. And to me, anyways, that was...
And how horrible he is, too.
Quite frankly, by the end of it, anyways, we were just kind of like, it's Erebus, but not by much. Corferon is pretty bad. All right, so we've only got a couple more of these questions, and then we got kind of a little fun ending thing that we were going to do. Actually, we might have gone through... Oh, no! Okay, so the last question that we've got here... and then we've got a couple fun things that we're going to do. But the last question we have is, what was your favorite weird thing we did? So, Like I mentioned earlier, anyways, we went through a bunch of all those different things we talked about, like for instance Armageddon, the Black Templars, Dark Angels, Word Bearers, all that stuff. But we had a couple of like interesting bonus stuff that we did. We did a couple of them, three of them in fact. One was, by the way, if you hear these random popping sounds, it's because it's New Year's Eve and I live out in the boonies, and every one of my neighbors is lighting off fireworks, which I'm kind of itching to do. So, but the couple things that we did was we ran a D&D campaign that we had like 3 sessions of. And quite frankly, if we might do that again. If we do, though, I think anyways it would make more sense if we did them like quicker in succession instead of like once a month for like 3 months. Because, quite frankly, anyways, by the time we got to this,
have to have everybody there.
that would help too. But by the time we got to the third one, I think the only 2 people was Sikrona and Yuxin that were there.
Yeah.
So, but
mind you, in the case of one of them, is due to the fact that he ended up getting COVID.
Yeah.
So.
But like I was saying, anyways, it's We did kind of a D&D with a Warhammer 40k skin over the top of it. We did that for a couple of months. Like I said, we did 3 sessions of it. And the other thing we did a Jeopardy style game show, which was a disaster. Really funny. I would recommend looking it up.
Probably the weirdest.
And yeah, probably the weirdest, because it was what we were doing was at the very end of that one, the Warhammer for Dummies kind of thing, was that we were going to bring Colin on, who became a member and was new to Warhammer 40k, and then we were going to bring on Lynn Crombie, who also doesn't know anything about Warhammer 40k, and then Sikrona, who knows a little bit about Warhammer 40k. And all the questions that we had literally were answered in all the podcasts that we did. And the problem is that Lynn didn't have any idea she could figure it out. And then Colin didn't listen to any of our stuff. So we ended up with a Jeopardy where the only guy who knew anything was Sikrona, and he would just wait until the other 2 tried to guess something, and they always got it wrong, and then he would just give the answer. I think Sikrona got, what, 2 wrong?
Yeah.
2 or 3, I think.
One of them it's one of them just like, you guys should know this. We actually revealed the answer because we also did some questions and answers right before it, too. And we actually gave one of the answers when we were answering one of the questions that they had. It was like, we told you the answer to this. You should know it.
So yeah, and then the third thing we did is actually one thing we did last November. We did the Planconius Wars, which was all stuff that we it's all our own lore, 40k lore. We built it around 3 battles. If any of you guys that listen to it anyways know anything about human history, then you probably recognize at least a couple of them, especially if you live in the United States. I'm pretty sure Hermes kind of picked it up pretty quick, especially once we got to the second battle, the Battle of Grok's Run, which we developed off of the Battle of Bull Run from the American Civil War. And then if he hadn't figured it out by then, he definitely figured it out by the third one that we did, which was about the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. I don't if you guys know anything about World War One, the first one was about, what was it about again? The Battle of Teutoburg Forest, or what was it?
No, it was the very beginning of the Prussian invasion.
The Russian invasion?
Yeah, the
in
Russian
World War
invasion
One. Yeah.
into Prussia. The first time that they started doing it.
Yeah, so
and it did not go well. Let's just put it that way. It did not go well for the Russians.
So out of all those three things, anyways, what was your favorite one that we did?
Personally, I think it was the Jeopardy one,
The
just
Jeopardy
because
one.
it was funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
I will say
its
the
own
Jeopardy
right.
one was probably the most amusing. If you guys haven't watched it, I'd recommend going and watching that one. Not a lot of people did watch it, but it's actually really funny, and there's a lot of improv in there. Yeah, it's probably one of the more entertaining things that we did. I liked the D&D thing. The problem I had with it was just how south it went. I mean, the first one everybody was really involved with. The second one, we lost one of our guys, but we were still pretty involved with it. And then the third one, it just went off the wheels because no one showed up other than Yuxid and Sakrona. So I had to drastically change, anyways, how it was going to end. But, yeah, quite frankly, I mean, I liked the Jeopardy one. But the Planconis Wars I actually really enjoyed because it gave me, I got to look up like history, which I always love doing. So I got to look up kind of the history, anyways, of the Battle of Bastogne, again, or the Battle of the Bulge, which took place in Bastogne. And then the Battle of Bull Run. That one, anyways, is one of my favorite battles because it had to do with Stonewall Jackson, and he's one of my favorite generals in history of all time. He was led kind of actually a very fascinating life, but yeah. So that's kind of, anyways, our kind of look back on what took place this last year. Now, going into the next year, we are starting. You're going to hear, anyways, in the next week or so. You're going to actually by next week, we should have up and ready. Anyways, we will be talking about it. We have another bonus Fox, like we said we were going to do. We're going to talk about the Abyssal Crusade. But we're starting the year off with the Indominus Crusade, which should be fairly interesting. We originally were going to have our end of the year thing, anyways, be the Indominus Crusade, because we kind of had this trail of following Gilliman through his rebirth. So the first year, anyways, we talked about the fall of Cadia, which kind of started, anyways. What was the crusade called again? It was
named after
the Celestine Crusade,
the Celestine.
Yeah. Which ended, anyways, with Gilliman's rebirth, but all those guys were fleeing Cadia. And then they picked up Yvrain and the Eldari group, and then they ended up in Macrog, and then they Belisarius Cael resurrected with Yvrain's help Gilliman. And then the next year we did the Terran Crusade. Not to be fooled with the Terran Crusade that took place in the 36th millennium, which was the Black Templars. This was Gilliman trying to get to Terra from Macrog. And it ends, anyways, with him battling, what's his face, Magnus on the dark side of the moon. And then so we figured
he would have lost if he didn't have help from like the Sisters of Silence.
Right.
Oh,
and then so we were thinking, anyways, the third thing we were going to do is like, well, the next step, anyways, for Gilliman is the Indominus Crusade. And then we found that was way too big, anyways, to do in one box. So we're like, you know what, we'll just start the year off with that. What's that?
As far as I'm aware of, it still technically isn't over. So
at this point it is. It's there because they're starting the next series, which is the reconquering of the 500 worlds in Macragge, I believe, or Ultramar. That's the new big thing. But we're also going to be talking about this upcoming year, anyways. We've got a few other things. This upcoming year is going to be a little bit darker because we've kind of run out of a lot of the loyalist groups. So we're going to be talking a little bit of Xenos. The Tyranids are going to be making an appearance along with the Thousand Sons. That one I think is going to be interesting because I think Magnus is probably one of the more entertaining characters.
Yeah.
That more entertaining Primarchs.
Tried to do everything right, but he did it all in the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. So And we might even get into the World Eaters. We haven't written that far into it. Angron's also another one of my. He's actually one of my favorite Primarchs because he was done so dirty by the Emperor.
Oh, the screen's blacked out.
Yes, because I've moved into a different page. We'll come back here in a minute. But
Okay.
so
There you go.
that's kind of, anyways. We're probably going to be doing a lot more, anyways, of the Chaos Space Marines and Xenos this upcoming year. We'll throw in for good measure, anyways. At least one Loyalist Space Marine chapter. I don't know, maybe the Raven Guard, or I don't know. I think all we got left is the Raven Guard and the Iron Hands, right?
Oh yeah. I was like, wait, isn't that pretty much the only one? Oh yeah, we had that.
Yeah, so we got those two left, but I think that's it. Quite frankly, I'd rather talk about the Raven Guard than the Iron Hands. The Iron Hands are pretty. Oh, we've also got the Mechanica. We can talk about them. Yeah,
talk about dark.
Yeah.
Dark right there.
So yeah, the only thing that I know that we're definitely talking about is, like I said, the Indominus Crusade, Thousand Suns, and then Tyranids and the Eldar. Now, the Tyranids, by the way, we're going to be covering the Tyranids, the Gene Stealers along with the Tyranids, because we figured there's probably not enough lore to do Gene Stealers and Tyranids, and they're pretty much the same bug. Even though nobody showed up for this live stream, this will also be a recording that we're going to be doing anyways on our podcast. So feel free to catch up on it on the podcast. We just did it on live stream because if we just, by some miracle, someone happened to show up, then they could ask questions and we could answer them, about the channel and whatnot. All right. So before we go, though, we do have kind of a special kind of weird treat thing. We were thinking about how we could end this year, and we were kind of, for all of you nerds out there, we're in the middle of football season. No one knows it's football season. I understand that. But that got us to thinking, anyways, that if we were going to build a team of Space Marines into a football team, who would we pick at what position? Which we thought, anyways, was going to be pretty fun. The only person that is not a Space Marine is our quarterback. We were allowed to pick one Primarch, and that was going to be our quarterback. So we're going to start, though, anyways, with the offense. So these two teams, anyways, and we'll kind of determine, anyways, who we think would win, anyways, at the end. But let's start, anyways. We're going to start on the very ends, and we're going to work our way in. So let's start with the wideouts.
Okay. So I chose Raven Guard because you chose the White Scars.
So you chose the Raven Guards because the guys that you wanted I'd already picked.
Yes.
It's like on the school ground, anyways, where you're getting teams together at recess. I'll pick Jim. Damn it, I was going to pick Jim. Fine, I'll take John. Well, I picked the White Scars because they're super fast. And that's what you want as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Slot receiver, on the other hand, anyways, I picked Raven Guard. Because I figure Raven Guard, anyways, they're a little bit... Slot receivers, they're the guys, they're the guy on the football team that you honestly just don't want to muck with, ever. I mean, their whole position is designed to kind of live within, anyways, that circle of pain. It's right in the middle of the defense. The quarterback knows as soon as he throws that ball to that wide receiver, more than likely he's just going to get crucified by either a linebacker or a safety, or someone's just going to come in and just level him. And they're cool with it. So, to me anyways, Raven Guard kind of fit that bill, quite frankly. Not quite all there, a little bit mean, but fast. That's the other thing, too. Great route runners, them Raven Guard. That's what I figured. What about you? I
chose Alpha Legion because they kind of fit the bill of trying to get as much yardage as possible with those short runs.
Okay. Fair enough. And they're sneaky enough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like You think I'm gonna zig when I zag instead?
Yeah.
Uh,
So the next one actually for me anyways is pretty tough. Tight end. So tight end anyways is probably one of your more versatile big guys. I mean he's gonna have to block when you ask him to block, and then he also has to run routes like a wide receiver. To me anyways, I picked the Iron Hands. They seem that kind of seems to be a pretty. They seem solid when you need them to be, and at the same time, anyways, they seem to be versatile if you need them to be. It's just I'm like I said before, I'm not a big fan of the Iron Hands because they're kind of they're Mechanicum boys. I'm just not a big fan of the Mechanicum, so. But I would pick them for tight ends. What about you? Oh wait, you
I
picked the
chose the
blueberries, didn't you?
Ultramarines. Yeah, the Ultramarines.
You picked them for the same reason I thought of the Iron Hands, didn't you? It's like because they're versatile. They're there. They are the Space Marine,
Yeah, I just chose them because they are the Space Marine.
right? All right. So then after that, anyways, offensive line. Who'd you go with?
I went with Imperial Fists. Gotta build that wall.
You got to build that wall. Yeah.
Build that wall.
No,
Build that wall.
no set. Hey,
Bob the Builder.
quite frankly, yeah. Can we build it? Yes, we can. Quite frankly, anyways, if you hadn't picked Imperial Fist, I would have picked Imperial Fist. But then I was thinking, okay, who are the guys, anyways, that are just stoic and just can take a hit and just keep going? If it's not the Imperial Fist, then Death Guard.
Yeah.
Death Guard are just known, anyways, as just the giant trucks that just kind of slog slowly forward,
Yeah.
which would be helpful, anyways,
And
especially if you want to have a good running game.
yeah.
In which case, anyways, for my running back, anyways, my halfback. So we've split this up. I know. For you guys that actually know football, nobody in the NFL really has a fullback anymore. I wanted to keep a fullback though, because it's my favorite position of all time. It's a giant dude that you give a ball and go, you're a bowling ball, knock over all the pins, get me 5 yards, 4 or 5 yards. So we have, or either that, or he's there anyways to block for the halfback. Now, the halfback,
Right.
anyways, I picked the World Eaters. I want my man running angry. And there's nobody better that runs angry, anyways, than a World Eater. So I just picture Card. Just give him the ball, give him that chain axe, watch him go to work. That's who I picked. I just figured, anyways. I love running backs that run angry. You can see it occasionally, anyways, with some of the good ones. I mean, like for those of you, anyways, that watch Marshawn Lynch, or Derrick Henry. If you watch Derrick Henry when he gets on a tear, the fact that anyways, where a guy comes up tries to tackle him, he just takes his hand, slams him down into the ground, and gets another 15 yards. I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, and to me, anyways, that's what a World Eater would do. I am not going down. That's the guy I want as my halfback. What about you? Who'd you pick?
So I chose instead Dark Angels.
Okay, why?
But I would like to actually change that to
Okay.
Space Wolves. Because Space Wolves are well, they kind of have the whole wild side to them. And
Right. Okay,
yeah.
I get you. Well, I see on your list here, though, anyways, for fullback, you had Space Wolves. So, who's your fullback going to be?
My fullback, which I almost immediately forgot, would probably be the World Eaters.
Would be a World Eater?
Yeah.
Why?
Cause nah, actually I would go with Iron Warrior.
Really?
Because
Okay.
you have to face it,
They're a heavy dude.
yeah, they're a heavy dude.
Okay. I kind of thought the same thing, but I went a different direction. I went with Salamander. Big old boy, anyways. He's going to clear a path for you. I mean, he's going to truck through that line, that defensive line, doesn't matter who it is, while saving the children and killing the Eldar all at the same time. All right, so that's our. Oh wait, no, we're missing. Oh wait, hang on. So we've also got the most important player on the team, the kicker. Remember, they are still football players, folks.
Quarterback.
So the kicker, anyways, I picked the word bearer. Why? Because he's the most useless space marine out there. I'm like, I guess you could be the kicker. I don't want to be the kicker. Well, you can't do anything else.
I chose the Emperor's Children. Because you gotta get that perfection, that perfect kick, right? No.
And they definitely don't want to get muddy. So they're a kicker. There you go. So then we have our quarterback. So our quarterback, remember, anyways, is a Primarch. I was actually kind of torn about this one. I originally was thinking Rogel Dorn. And the more I thought about it, I was like, no. Dorn's too defensive. That doesn't work well, anyways, for the way that I like watching, or I like teams, anyways, the way football teams play. I like a little bit more aggressive play. I can't stand it. I'm a Packers fan. I couldn't stand it anyways when McCarthy was the coach, and we would get ahead anyways. Aaron Rodgers would actually stomp down the field and in the third quarter get ahead by like two touchdowns or something like that, and then all he would run after that was like running plays. Just try to burn that clock out. Played really defensively, and I'm just sitting there going, "No, you got your foot on their throat. Step down." I mean, come on. I mean, so to me, anyways, I was like, Dorn's a little too defensive for my taste. So I went with his better half, Perturabo. I figured Perturabo, anyways, is a great enough tactician. Not only that, I mean, he's a brilliant tactician, which is something you want in a quarterback. Not only that, but the music all of a sudden got really loud. Hang on a second. There we go. But yeah, like I said, anyways, to me, anyways, Perturabo is probably going to be your best quarterback. I mean, led sieges. I mean, that's what he does. He's the guy that eventually ended up stomping Dorn, anyways, in the Iron Cage. I mean, you're not looking for like the great duelist here. You're looking for a tactician. So I mean, of the 3 or 4 guys, anyways, that I could pick, I was thinking, like, for instance, Rogel Dorn, Perturabo, Gilliman would have been another good one that I'd probably pop up there. The Khan, honestly, the more I think about it, anyway, it's just the way that he likes, the whole, like, he moves all the time really fast. To me, anyways, you can.
If I thought about it,
could work pretty well there too. But that's just me. I went with Perturabo though. That was the guy. That was my guy. I figured, yeah. And he hates everybody. That's the other thing too. A quarterback with a little bit of hatred for the other team, I think, works. I mean, you watch anyways. What's his face? Tom Brady, when he played the Jets, there's a little bit more in there. Or when he played against Peyton Manning, it's just kind of a little bit more. But all right, who'd you pick?
So I picked Alfarius.
That's an interesting choice, sir. I remember we were joking about it though. It was like, I'm Alfarius. You could literally have the whole team Alpha Legion.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, you're tied in anyways. I'm an Ultramarine. Why are you a teal color? Hey, Hydra. Run away. So why did you pick Alfarius?
Because he has the whole cunning aspect. And picking it, actually, I can see him picking apart a defense.
Right.
Over time.
So you're thinking a lot of like Statue
kind
of
of what
Liberty
they do
plays, and
is they kind of mess you up until you really can't do anything.
so you're thinking a lot of trick plays and
Yeah,
okay, fair enough. It'd be at least fun to watch. I mean,
yeah, it would be.
sometimes, anyways, those trick plays don't work so well. If the defense can figure it out, it's like, oh no.
What just popped in my head was the movie The Replacements, where they had that one play where it's just like, this is what happens. He just throws it in the back of this guy. Whap!
Oh,
And
yeah,
then the person picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown.
it's a football.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all of our offenses here, anyways. I mean, obviously, anyways, I think, anyways, that my team's gonna win, but I think though that you do, anyways. Quite frankly, at this point, anyways, I would actually, for the offense, I'd probably give you the advantage because, as we know, the game of football is won and lost in the trenches. And quite frankly, anyways, I think the Imperial Fist, anyways, would be a better offensive line than the Death Guard. Don't get me wrong, Death Guard, anyways, they're some tough boys, but
Yeah.
the Imperial Fist, their whole thing is we build a wall.
Yeah.
This is where we stand. This is where they die. Kind of thing. But also, anyways, there's this other line, anyways, that quarterbacks and offenses win games. Championships, though, are won by defense. So let's get into the defense, shall we? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start on the wideouts, anyways, our cornerbacks. I picked the Blood Angels. Blood Angels are fast moving, like we talked about before, anyways. They are the spear tip. That's their aspect, anyways. And they're far more violent. You need to be a quarterback. You don't have to have the best hands to catch, but you need to be more violent. So that's why I picked, anyways. I picked the Blood Angels.
Well, when it comes to violence, you do have to admit that the Night Lord have it up there, though, don't you?
I think you got me on the quarterbacks here. I just looked at what you wrote down. It's cheating. You changed it. Okay, fine. Who's your quarterback?
No, my quarterback is the Night Lord.
Yeah. Why? Why did you pick the Night Lords as a quarterback?
Because they're scary and violent as all heck.
Ironically, moving on, anyways, to our strong safety. That's why I picked, anyways, the Night Lords as my strong safety. I want that. My all-time favorite strong safety that I ever watched. Now, okay, I can't remember if Ed Reed was a strong safety or a free safety. I think he was actually a free safety. He might have been a strong safety. He was fun to watch. And John Lynch was another safety, anyways, that was just fun to watch. He'd just tear people up. But my all-time favorite strong safety, anyways, was Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
He was built like a linebacker, but he moved like a safety. And I just still remember, anyways, it's one of my all-time favorite hits. They were playing the 49ers, and Vernon Davis goes on a slot route, anyways, and he goes to catch it. And Cam Chancellor hit him so hard, they threw a flag. They're just like, oh, that's got to be illegal. And two things took place. One is they slowed it down when you watched it. Don't get me wrong, it was a very violent hit. But he hit him legally. He hit him anyways with a shoulder pad right here in the chest. He hit him so hard that he dropped the ball too. And so that's the first thing that I saw anyways. I'm like, wow, that's I mean, I understand why they threw the penalty, but that's awesome. The fact anyways that he hit him that hard legally.
Yeah.
And the second thing that took place after that is that Vernon Davis was never the same again. He could not catch a football after that. And I think it was honestly because it was like every time he went to go catch a football, he would hear footsteps in the back of his head. It's Cam! He's coming to get me! Kind of thing. I heard Rob Gronkowski anyways was talking. He's like, the guy who hit me the hardest ever was Cam Chancellor. Which is saying something. So...
he was the... I forget how they said it. He's a safety that can hit like a linebacker.
Yeah. So for me anyway, strong safety, I figured Night Lord. You want that guy that is just he's gonna hit hard. He is scary. He's gonna make wide receivers not want to run into that backfield. You know how we were talking about how slot receivers anyways know they're gonna get killed? Well, a couple hits anyways, like from a Cam Chancellor or somebody like that, they all of a sudden realize that they don't want to be running in the middle of the field. So that's why I picked them as Night Lords. Who'd you pick?
I am actually changing who I really.
Oh no, you can't change it now. We wrote it down. Okay, fine. Excuse me.
I'd probably go with the Black Legion, actually.
Oh, Horace's boys?
Yeah.
Why? I don't picture them being like fast.
It's more the fact that they are.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I'm creepy. Okay. Well,
Part of it's because I wanted to switch who I originally had there to free safety.
oh, okay. Okay, at this point anyways, I think I won the strong safety aspect though.
Yeah.
Free safety. So for those that don't know, anyways, there's normally two safeties that are set up in a defense. The first is a strong safety. They're the guys that they're the last line of defense for like runs and short passes and stuff like that. And then your free safety is the guy that sits in the back, and he has to be the fastest guy on your defense pretty much because he's got to cover a huge amount of ground. Probably one of my all-time favorites to watch is, I already said Cam Chancellor, but Earl Thomas too. He could just cover the entire back of the field. It was amazing to watch him play. Cam Chancellor, quite frankly, anyways, was the center of the Legion of Boom, which was for those of you who are too young to remember them or just weren't football fans, just look up the Legion of Boom. Just watching them play anyways, they were watching a good defense to me anyways is far more entertaining than watching a good offense run. It's just, and especially anyways if they're playing a good offense, it's like you take this great offense and then it's just like, yeah, they're really good, they've been killing everybody, and then just watching them being systematically destroyed by a great defense is just fun for me. But
You mean kind of like the Super Bowl that one year?
jeez, yeah, the Broncos and the Seahawks, yeah, that was. Mind you, I think that game would have been drastically different if it hadn't immediately started the very first play with the safety. But
Yeah.
I think it would have been significantly more like anyways because the Seahawks actually played the Broncos the following year, and I think like week 2, and that game anyways went into overtime. I think it would have been much more like that if it hadn't been for that safety. But okay, but free safety anyways. Okay, now that you've moved them around all over the place, who'd you pick? Euxin?
I picked the White Scars.
Okay. Because you wanted, okay, so that makes sense because they're
Fast,
mobile. Yeah.
They'll make it out there. I mean, it's kind of what they do.
That's what they do. Yeah, I hear you. Dark Angels, that's who I picked. They're also pretty mobile, all things considered. Especially like if I'd probably take Dark Angel Ravenwing, a Ravenwing dude. But yeah, so high mobility, that's what you want anyways with a free safety. Okay, so linebackers. I picked my boys, the Space Wolves. Linebackers are your guys anyways that are their job is to get home, get to the quarterback. Either that or cover the running back. Cover the running game. If the defensive line can't stop the guy, you need to level him. I think they're kind of your middle guys. To me anyways, Space Wolves are versatile enough to do that. They've got to, you also got to play angry if you're a linebacker. Yeah, the best ones do at least. And quite frankly, it was just my all-time favorite guy anyways. It was a linebacker, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was a beast. And he was great. But
what position was Dick Butkus?
who?
Dick Butkus?
Dick Butkus. I think he was a linebacker too. He might have been defensive line. I don't know. It's been a while since I looked him up. My all-time favorite defensive guy of all time is actually a defensive lineman. We will get into here momentarily. But Linebacker, I'm gonna have to go with the Space Wolves on that one. They're mean. They're wolfy. Wolf, wolf, wolf. I can hear anyways. I can hear them anyways as the cadence is going anyways by the quarterback. Just the four guys in the back are wolf, 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 wolf. Blood claw, wolf. But yeah, I could see them very easily getting home anyways and taking out the quarterback. But quite frankly,
I don't know.
the more I think about it anyways, we probably shouldn't have picked Primarchs. We probably should have picked Chapter Master. Because, well, let's face it anyways, the 11 guys on defense, the Primarch wouldn't need anybody in front of him. He could just get past the whole defense by himself. But okay, let's put it this way. All the Space Marines are all... Well, that still probably wouldn't work. I was going to say all the Space Marines are all in their armor and stuff, and the Primarch has to go out there in gym shorts. Primarch still could probably get past all of them, but anyways. So I picked Space Wolves. Who'd you pick?
I picked Dark Angels.
Or why?
Because they can be very surgical, precision,
Okay.
and they can still have some speed there. So,
Right. Okay. And then our last, but certainly not least, the defensive line. Defensive line, they're the trenches. My all-time favorite defensive player of all time was in the defensive line, and that was the Minister of Defense himself, Reggie White. Played for the Eagles for many years, and then he won his Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Go Pack, go! But, yeah, I still remember. Anyways, it's the very first game that I really remember. The very first Super Bowl I really remember. It was the Patriots versus the Green Bay Packers, way back in the day. Patriots had not Tom Brady as their quarterback. No. This is before then. This was Drew Bledsoe. And Brett Favre was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. And it was getting towards the end of the game, and they rushed 3 defensive linemen against a full offensive line for the Patriots. And Reggie White got home. He sacked Drew Bledsoe, which it's just, it still floors me. It's one of the things I really remember anyways. And everybody was just shocked. And then he did it again. The next play. That, and then the other thing I really remember was that they got, I think his name was Chris Carter. He was a Vikings wide receiver. And part of his job was that he was supposed to, because he wasn't going to be catching the ball, they put him in as a blocker. So when you put a wide receiver in as a blocker, they're not really supposed to do much. They're just supposed to slow the line down just enough at the quarterback for the play to develop, right? Unfortunately, he was lined up against Reggie White. So Reggie, anyways, the ball gets snapped. Reggie starts booking it forwards. Poor Carter gets in front of him anyways. Reggie White takes one hand, puts it on this guy's chest, and literally hurls him backwards 10 yards. Doesn't slow down, just beelines and kills the quarterback. I'm like, who wrote that play up? Who's the idiot? And the wide receiver, Carter, was coming back to the huddle going, I'm not doing that again. Who's the idiot that said that we were going to do this? I know it wasn't you, pointing to the quarterback, because you like me and didn't want me to die. Some dumb offensive coordinator.
That would sound like something that would happen with J.J. Watt against the wide receiver.
Yeah. Watt was another defensive lineman that was... Watt was fun to watch. He literally changed the game because his hands were so big that he would bat down all these passes. And
he could turn on a dime.
Yeah, he was fast. He was fast. He was big. Yeah. He when teams actually went to go play the Houston Texans back when he was on that team, they literally, anyways, to practice the quarterback, anyways, is that they would have guys that would sit behind the offensive line when they snapped the ball with tennis rackets and wave them back and forth. So he would get used to just seeing these giant hands coming up anyways and not throw it into him. I mean, that I think his first or second year, anyways. He almost broke the sack record, and he batted down, I think, twice as many balls ever by anybody. So, yeah. And anyways, but the trenches, anyways, I think are the most important place or the most, you win the game in the trenches in football. And for me, anyways, if I'm going to have anybody, anyways, storming the trenches, so to speak, it's going to be the Iron Warriors. It's what they do. Siege warfare. Can you really argue it?
No.
Okay.
The closest I could get with what I had left would be the Death Guard.
The Death Guard. Okay.
That's because, yeah, try running through the Death Guard with the running back. It's probably not going to end very well. Because...
Unless he's a world eater.
So I could just see a world eater running into a bigger Death Guard, though, and him clawing at him is like, okay.
So I think both of these teams actually, this would be kind of an interesting, this I think would be a really fun game to watch, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be close. I think my team's got the edge just simply because I think my defense is better. I think the positions that I got anyways on my defense are a little bit better. What's that?
Certain positions, yes.
The only one anyways that I think you got in a better position is cornerback, quite frankly. Oh, okay, free safety. Free safety's pretty good too, the White Scar back there. Yeah. But and then it really would come down to which one would be the better kicker. And quite frankly, the Emperor's Children is... I'm not getting any dirt on me. I think, quite frankly, anyways, you've got the edge, anyways, when it comes to the special teams. But, yeah, I the more I look at this, anyways, I do think, anyways, that I got a better defense. I think you've got the edge, though, on the offense. So I think, quite frankly, anyways, it really is kind of a coin toss on who wins it. Wins this one. But hey, for those of you anyways that jeez, my throat is parched. Brought to you by apple juice.
Drinking apple juice?
Shh, I'm on. Or for those anyways who have been listening or well, I don't think anybody actually showed up here, Yuxin. Not a single one. But
well,
for those anyways who are going to listen to this in the future, like on our podcast, first off, thank you for listening. I hope you guys all have a happy new year, and go ahead and leave in the comments anyways on which team you think would win. Until next time, though, anyways, have a happy new year, and this is this is Akthar
and Yuxin
signing off. Let's make sure we add one last gasp cough in there before we end. All right, stream is officially over. We're going to stop the recording here.